The lifestyle of Seth Curry in 2025. Wife-daughter dream home, cars and net worth revealed. He's often lived in the shadow of his superstar brother, but in 2025, Seth Curry is stepping fully into his own spotlight, and his lifestyle is proof. From a stunning home that blends luxury with family life, to his elegant wife and adorable daughter who steal the show off the court, Seth is showing the world what balance, success, and quiet confidence really look like. Add in a sleek car collection, endorsement deals, and a net worth that's grown beyond the NBA paycheck, and you've got a man who's built an empire all his own. Stick around, because we're giving you an exclusive peek into Seth Curry's world in 2025, where hard work, heart, and hustle have turned into a life worth celebrating. In the fast-paced world of the NBA, we all know Stephen Curry as the dazzling superstar, the face of long-range shooting and gravity-defying plays. But behind that spotlight, there's another Curry who's been quietly carving out his own path, Seth Curry, a hidden gem who's anything but ordinary. Yes, he's the son of NBA sharpshooter Del Curry and the younger brother of Stephen. But Seth's story is one of grit, patience, and pure determination. He didn't ride anyone's coattails. In fact, he wasn't even drafted in 2013. Yet today, he's become one of the most efficient three-point shooters in the league and has built a $16 million career doing it. So here's the big question. Can Seth Curry truly step out of the shadow of his famous family and claim his own spotlight? The answer lies in a journey that's never been fully told until now. Seth's story begins in Charlotte, North Carolina, where basketball wasn't just a game, it was part of the family DNA. Born on August 23, 1990, Seth grew up in a house where athletic greatness was the norm. His dad, Del, was lighting it up from deep for the Charlotte Hornets, and his mom, Sonia Curry, brought her own fire as a standout college volleyball player. And of course, there was Stephen, the older brother, who would go on to change the game forever. As a kid, Seth wasn't just watching the game on TV, he was living it. He tagged along to Hornets games, sat courtside as his dad drained threes, and soaked in the energy of NBA locker rooms. He wasn't just learning the game, he was breathing it in. But make no mistake, being a Curry didn't mean things came easy. With a last name like Curry, expectations were sky high. Living in the shadows of both his dad and older brother meant Seth had to prove he was more than just a little brother. He had to fight for his own name. And he did, starting in the backyard where the Curry brothers went head-to-head in epic one-on-one battles. Those games weren't just childhood fun, they were the proving grounds. Seth later said those battles built his toughness and competitive spirit traits that would carry him through every setback ahead. He attended Charlotte Christian School, where he shined both on the court and in the classroom. But despite his skills, the road to NBA stardom wasn't laid out in gold. And yet, he didn't stop. He didn't fold. He kept shooting, kept grinding, kept believing. Now the world is finally catching on to what Seth Curry has quietly become: a deadly shooter, a self-made success, and a story of perseverance that deserves the spotlight. So stay tuned, because we're diving deep into Seth Curry's untold journey from overlooked underdog to NBA standout, and uncovering the personal stories you've never heard before. This is more than basketball. This is Seth Curry's rise. From the very beginning, Seth Curry had two powerful forces shaping him: the game of basketball and the unwavering discipline of his mother. Sonia Curry wasn't just a former college athlete. She was also Seth's first coach when it came to academics. She expected excellence in the classroom just as much as on the court, and Seth had no choice but to deliver on both fronts. At Charlotte Christian School, Seth quickly made waves. By his senior year, he was a force, dropping 22.3 points, grabbing 5 rebounds, and dishing out 5 assists per game. He led his team straight into the state playoffs and walked away with all-conference and all-state honors. Impressive? Absolutely. But even with those stats, the big-name college offers just didn't come flooding in. Not like they had for Stephen. And despite the legendary Curry name, the NBA wasn't knocking on his door either. But that's where Seth's story really begins. Seth could have let the disappointment sink him. Instead, he chose to bet on himself. While top recruits headed to powerhouse schools, Seth committed to Liberty University in Virginia. And in his very first season, he shocked everyone, averaging 20.2 points per game. the highest among all freshmen in the country. People started to take notice. But Seth wasn't content with just proving he belonged, he wanted to compete with the best. So he made a bold move. He transferred to Duke University, one of the most elite programs in college basketball, where he trained under the iconic coach Mike Krzyzewski. At Duke, he didn't just survive, he thrived. In his senior year, Seth became a critical piece of the Blue Devils, averaging 17.5 points per game and earning a spot on the All-ACC team, one of the highest honors in college basketball. The stage was set, the work was done. All that was left was the NBA draft. But the call never came. No fanfare, no guarantees, just silence. Most players would have taken that as a sign to walk away. But Seth, he knew exactly what he had to do: grind harder. He got a chance with his brother's team, the Golden State Warriors, but it was a non-guaranteed deal. A few months later, he was cut. Still, he didn't give up. Instead, he dropped down to the NBA D-League, signing with the Santa Cruz Warriors, and made an explosive debut, scoring 36 points. The message was clear: he was NBA ready. That Christmas, the Memphis Grizzlies gave him a shot, signing him to a short-term contract. But in a brutal twist, he was released the very day of his debut. Still undeterred, he signed a 10-day deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers, hoping it would be the breakthrough he needed. It wasn't. The contract expired, and once again he was back in the shadows of the D-League, waiting, grinding, and preparing. The early years of Seth Curry's professional journey were anything but glamorous. He bounced from team to team, played for short-term contracts, and hustled in the background while others took the spotlight. But something changed around 2016. This was when all the quiet work began to pay off. Slowly but surely, Seth started to get real playing time. His name wasn't just tied to being Stephen Curry's brother anymore. It stood on its own. And that's when people finally realized what Seth had known all along. He was born to play this game. He just needed the chance to prove it. In the summer of 2016, the Dallas Mavericks took a chance on a name many knew, but few fully believed in. That name? Seth Curry. Up to that point, he'd been seen mostly as Stephen's little brother. But Dallas gave him something few teams had: real opportunity, and Seth seized it. That November, he dropped a career-high 23 points in a win over the Lakers. Then came 24 against the Spurs in January 2017, and a scorching 31 points versus the Timberwolves in February. Suddenly, fans and analysts alike started to realize this wasn't just the other Curry brother. This was Seth Curry, and he was making his name known. But just as his star was rising, misfortune struck. A stress injury to his left tibia sidelined him for the entire 2017 to 2018 season. It was a crushing blow, one that could have ended his momentum completely. But Seth Curry, he's built different. After rehabbing, Seth signed with the Portland Trail Blazers for the 2018 to 2019 season. It was a fresh start and his first real taste of the NBA playoffs. Though his salary was under $3 million, his impact was priceless. That year, the Blazers made a deep run all the way to the Western Conference Finals, where Seth found himself face-to-face with the Golden State Warriors and his brother Stephen. It was emotional, historic, and symbolic. Two brothers raised on the same driveway battles, now dueling on one of basketball's biggest stages. The Blazers fell short, but for Seth, that series was a statement. He belonged. Seth returned to the Mavericks for the 2019 to 2020 season, and that's when he truly hit his stride. In February 2020, he erupted for 37 points against the Miami Heat, setting a new personal record. It was more than a breakout moment. It was proof that Seth wasn't just capable of playing in the league, he could dominate in it. He was no longer a role player. He was a weapon. In 2020, Seth joined the Philadelphia 76ers, quickly becoming a vital piece in Coach Doc Rivers' offense. He helped lead the team to the playoffs, stepping up when it mattered most. But dreams of a title were cut short after a tough loss to the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Then came another twisted trade to the Brooklyn Nets in early 2022. With stars like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in the mix, Seth could have been overshadowed. But instead, he made an immediate impact, helping the Nets snap an 11-game losing streak with a huge win over the Sacramento Kings, a team that had once let him go. Talk about full circle. That season, Seth earned $8.2 million and solidified himself as a valuable asset wherever he played. Long before the NBA grind, Seth made his international debut with Team USA in 2009, winning gold at the FIBA U19 World Championship in New Zealand. That was his first taste of victory on a world stage, and a glimpse of the fire that would carry him through the years. From his pro debut in 2014 through 2023, Seth earned around $33 million in NBA salary. That's impressive by any standard until you compare it to his brother Steven, who pulled in over $250 million in the same stretch. But for Seth, it was never about being the richest. It was about earning respect, shot by shot, team by team. Seth's success hasn't just paid off on the court, it's reflected in his lifestyle. With a net worth of $16 million, he's living the life of a star without the flashiness of one. In 2023, Seth and his wife, Callie Rivers, yes, Doc Rivers' daughter, sold their stunning $3.6 million Dallas mansion, a 6,942 square foot architectural masterpiece featuring 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a home theater, wine cellar, infinity pool, private gym, and outdoor lounge made for summer barbecues. But that was just the beginning. In 2024, the Currys moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, purchasing a breathtaking $6.4 million estate in the upscale Foxcroft area. Their new home is next-level luxury, 9,426 square feet, 7 bedrooms, and every high-end feature you'd expect from an NBA star's residence. A professional-grade gym, spa, sauna, cinematic home theater, marble fireplaces, and even an underwater bar in the pool. It's a castle fit for a king, and Seth earned every square foot of it. Despite setbacks, injuries, and being overlooked for years, Seth Curry has never stopped pushing. While the headlines often go to his brother, those who know the game respect Seth's journey because he built it the hard way. He's not just a sharpshooter, not just the other Curry. He's Seth Curry, a true NBA success story still being written. And trust this, his best chapters might still be ahead. Seth Curry, the quiet star, living a loud life tucked away behind the grand gates of his private estate. Seth Curry doesn't just practice his shot, he lives the life of a man who earned every bit of it. At home, he's got it all. A personal basketball court for those late-night training sessions, a sprawling backyard retreat with stone walkways, weaving through lush greenery, and a dedicated BBQ space for hosting friends and family. This isn't just a home, it's a sanctuary designed for both grind and luxury. Both of Seth Curry's mansions, first in Dallas, now in Charlotte, aren't just places to sleep. They're statements. Statements of taste, of success, and of a lifestyle that balances hard-earned comfort with purpose. Unlike some NBA stars who flaunt fleets of flashy supercars, Seth Curry keeps it cool but still classy. His garage may be small, but it's packed with power and precision. He owns a Lamborghini Aventador, the crown jewel of his collection, a $500,000 beast with a 6.5-liter V12, engine roaring with 769 horsepower. It rockets from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, with its signature scissor doors slicing the air like wings. For Seth, it's not just a ride, it's a reward. A machine that turns heads and sends a message, I've arrived. But speed isn't everything. When it comes to comfort, Seth switches gears and slides into his Range Rover Sport. Starting around $90,000, this luxury SUV packs power and poise, built for smooth city rides or rough terrain. With plush leather seats, panoramic sunroof, and a supercharged V8 under the hood, it's everything a busy NBA star needs: class, performance, and versatility. Then there's the iconic Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, a luxury tank on wheels with a price tag between $180,000 and $250,000. Seth's model, the G63 AMG, roars with 577 horsepower, accelerating from 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, unheard of for something that looks like it could survive the apocalypse. It's powerful, it's bold, it's Seth Curry in SUV form. Seth isn't just about horsepower and hardwood. Behind the scenes, he's calm, focused, and quietly competitive, a man who takes pride in living well, but living right. Born into the legendary Curry basketball dynasty, Seth carved out his own identity through discipline. While others partied, he trained. While others chased attention, he built consistency. His workouts are intense, his diet is locked in, and his downtime is sacred. Off the court, his style is sharp, but simple athleisure meets elegance. You'll catch him in tailored joggers, fresh kicks, and clean fits. No excessive flash, just effortless cool. And when he's not hitting jump shots, he's hitting the green. Like his brother Steph, Seth is a big fan of golf, using it to unwind and reset. He also turns to music, hip-hop, and R&B as a way to lock in before games. "It gets me in the zone," he said. Even his personality, described by his grandmother Sonia as silly and quiet, contrasts with the spotlight. As a kid, he and Steph battled on and off the court, accusing each other of cheating in backyard games, always fighting for that edge. That fire never faded, it just matured. What makes Seth Curry special isn't just the jumper, it's his heart. He's heavily involved in philanthropy, especially for kids and teens. He's helped fund school construction, scholarships, and provided supplies to underprivileged communities. Seth believes education and sports change lives, and he puts his money and time where his mouth is. He even runs free basketball camps, where he doesn't just show up for a photo op. He plays, he talks, he teaches, he connects. Because he knows exactly what it feels like to be the kid who's counted out. Off the court, Seth's biggest win might just be love. He's married to Callie Rivers, daughter of coaching legend Doc Rivers and a former elite volleyball player herself. Their love story began long before the spotlight as kids growing up in the NBA's extended family circle. But it wasn't until later, after both had blossomed in their careers, that they fell in love. The two tied the knot on September 14th, 2019, in a breathtaking beachside wedding in Malibu, California. It was a star-studded affair with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Paul George among the guests. Callie stunned in an elegant gown, Seth sharp in a black suit. But more than the fashion or fanfare, what stood out was the genuine joy between them. A new chapter, written with love, trust, and respect. Now, as parents, they're raising the next generation of Currys with the same love of sports, family, and excellence. Seth Curry isn't the loudest name in the league. He doesn't dominate headlines. But ask around the NBA, and they'll tell you he's one of the most respected shooters in the game. More than that, he's proof that you don't need to start at the top to get there. From undrafted to undeniable, from D-League to multi-million-dollar homes, Seth built his life shot by shot, step by step. He's a star with no shortcuts, a family man with quiet fire, a baller who lives with class on and off the court. And here's the best part. Seth Curry's story isn't over. It's just getting good. Behind every great athlete is a deeper story, one that goes beyond the court, past the highlights and box scores. For Seth Curry, that story begins and ends with family. He and his wife, Callie Rivers, are raising their daughter, Carter Lynn Curry, born in 2018. She's the heartbeat of their home. Despite the demands of the NBA grind, Seth never loses sight of what matters most. He carves out time for bedtime stories, walks in the park, and those quiet moments that matter way more than any stat line. Seth often shares glimpses of that life on social media, snaps of giggles with Carter, smiles with Callie. It's clear. For Seth, family isn't a break from basketball, it's the reason he plays. Callie, daughter of coaching legend Doc Rivers, is more than just part of a sports dynasty. She's a devoted wife, hands-on mom, and Seth's #1 fan. Whether it's courtside at a critical game or supporting him behind the scenes, she's always there. Together, they represent not just two famous last names, but a bond that feels refreshingly real in a world where headlines often outshine heart. Their marriage isn't just a love story, it's a historic crossover. On one side, the Curry family dynasty, Dad Del Curry, NBA sharpshooter turned broadcaster, and brother Stephen Curry, one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. On the other, the Rivers legacy, with Doc as one of the most respected coaches in NBA history. It's basketball royalty united. Sometimes sports write their own scripts, and the 2019 NBA Western Conference Finals was one of those rare, unforgettable moments. On one end, Stephen Curry, the face of the Golden State Warriors. On the other, Seth Curry, fighting with the Portland Trail Blazers to carve out his own legacy. It was the first time in NBA history two brothers faced off in a conference final, and the entire world watched. The family was torn literally. Their parents, Del and Sonia, showed up in split jerseys, repping both sons and refusing to choose sides. Even the players admitted it felt strange. "It just didn't feel right," Steph said after the series. Stephen's Warriors swept the series 4-0, but Seth stood tall, not just as a competitor, but as a reminder that greatness comes in many forms, and sometimes, even in defeat, you win. While Stephen has become a global icon, highlight reels, sneaker deals, even a few tabloids twists, Seth has taken a quieter path. No scandals, no controversies, just hard work, clean living, and a deep love for the game. That's what fans respect most about him. He's focused, grounded, and real, a professional through and through. Fast forward to 2025, and Seth Curry is in the midst of a pivotal chapter in his career. In July 2024, he signed a one-year deal with the Charlotte Hornets, bringing his sharp shooting and veteran poise to a young team in need of leadership. Though his numbers this season, 6.3 points, 1.6 rebounds, 0.7 assists per game, won't grab headlines. His role has been crucial. His presence on the perimeter helps space the floor and opens up lanes for scorers like LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges. But the season hasn't been smooth sailing. A lower back strain recently kept him out of a key matchup against the Washington Wizards. He returned on March 3, 2025, to face his brother's Warriors, but it wasn't the comeback he hoped for. Seth played just 8 minutes, didn't score, and the Hornets lost their 7th straight game, falling 119-101. Meanwhile, Steph dropped 21 points and 10 assists, reminding everyone why he's still one of the league's most dangerous players. With his one-year contract winding down, Seth's future is uncertain. Will the Hornets re-sign him? Will another contender pick him up for his shooting and experience? One thing is clear, Seth Curry still has plenty to offer. His ability to stretch the floor, his calm under pressure, and his leadership in the locker room make him a valuable asset to any team looking to make a playoff push. He may not be the Curry brother on billboards, but he's earned his spot in the league with grit and grace. Off the court, Seth continues to invest in what matters. His charity work focuses on kids supporting education, building schools, and running basketball camps that give back to the communities that raised him. He believes in using his platform for good and keeping the next generation inspired. And through it all, he remains a loving husband, a present father, and a man who lets his actions speak louder than his words. As 2025 unfolds, one thing's for sure. Seth Curry's story isn't defined by stats alone. It's about character, consistency, and choosing family over fame. He's not the loudest voice in the room, but when he speaks, people listen. When he plays, teammates trust him. And when he walks into a gym, everyone knows this is a man who's built to last.